You know, sometimes a simple vacation can turn into something so much more. Back in the summer of '94, that's exactly what happened to one couple. They thought they were just taking a 2-week trip, but it ended up being an unbelievable adventure, a real journey deep into their family's past.
So what if a vacation could actually be a journey through time? I mean, really think about that. For this couple, that wasn't just some fantasy. It was literally the plan for their trip. They were on a quest to connect the dots of their own family, linking who they are today to a past that goes back generations.
So let's meet our travelers, Randy and Linda. And what's so cool is how their goals for the trip just clicked. Randy was all about digging into the past, right? Hunting for names and dates in old, dusty archives. Linda, on the other hand, she was living in the present, taking in all the historic sights and stories of New England today. And when you put those two approaches together, well, that's when you get one incredible journey.
Okay, so here's the game plan for their 2-week adventure. They started off in historic Boston, then shot up north for a big family reunion. After that, it was all about diving deep into the research trail across Massachusetts. Then, a much-needed break on Cape Cod, and finally, one last stop in Connecticut to chase down that final clue. All right, first stop, Boston. And this part of the trip really sets the stage for everything else, showing this perfect mix of quiet, intense research and these loud, happy family get-togethers.
I love this contrast. On day one, you've got these two totally different adventures happening at the same time. Randy, he's tucked away in the quiet halls of the Genealogical Society, completely absorbed in these centuries-old documents. And Linda, she's out there experiencing history in real time, hopping on a trolley tour, soaking up the amazing energy of Faneuil Hall. Just a tale of two Bostons, really.
And then, up in New Hampshire, this is where the two sides of the trip really came together. So after all that quiet time in the archives, the whole scene just shifts to this big, lively family reunion. We're not talking about dusty records anymore. This is living, breathing history. But what's great is that even with all the laughter and barbecue, there's Randy, notebook in hand, adding the newest branches to the very family tree he was researching.
And that right there, that was the real magic of this whole trip. It was all about bridging that gap, between the names on a page and the actual family laughing and talking right in front of him. It's just such a powerful reminder that history isn't some dead thing in a book. It's a story that's still being written right now.
Okay, so every great adventure has those moments of pure dumb luck, right? Well, this trip was definitely no exception. The next part of their journey, honestly, it was defined by a series of coincidences so perfect, you'd swear someone wrote it into a script. It's just wild.
So picture this. They roll into Townsend, Massachusetts, and they've got a super simple plan. Step 1, find the town hall. Step 2, look for records on the Hildreth and Sawtell families. Easy enough. It was methodical, logical, and it was about to get thrown completely out the window.
As they're walking up the steps to the town hall, a voice calls out. Just one word. But that one word, it changed their entire day.
And get this, you're not going to believe it. It was a friend of theirs, Alan, from a town nearby. He just happened to be driving through, saw them, and literally slammed on his brakes. I mean, think about it. In a part of the country with a million little towns and winding roads, what are the odds? It's just staggering. That was the first big sign that this trip was, well, something really special.
It's like that first piece of luck just opened the floodgates. Seriously, the town clerk takes one look at Randy and says he looks just like a Don Hildreth. Then they find ancestors' graves in 3 different local cemeteries. And then even this cranky old microfilm machine in Worcester that was giving them fits, it finally coughs up its secrets, and they have this massive breakthrough. It really felt like the past was actively trying to help them.
All right, after all that intense, dusty research, it was definitely time for a change of scenery. So they headed east to Cape Cod. Time to swap the quiet hum of libraries for the sound of waves crashing on the shore.
Yeah, I love this because it shows there are 2 very different kinds of hunting on the Cape. So Randy's still on his quest looking for Dill family data, but this time he strikes out, comes up empty. Linda, though, her hunt for angel figurines in all the little gift and antique shops was a massive success. It's just a fun reminder that a great trip has room for all sorts of treasure hunts.
And they really did just embrace the vacation part of it all. I mean, they won a radio station contest right there on the beach. They climbed that huge Pilgrim Memorial Tower in Provincetown, kicked back and watched the World Cup final, and even took a guided nature walk. See, these are the moments that turn a research trip into an actual cherished memory.
But hold on, the journey wasn't over yet. They left the beautiful Cape behind and headed to Connecticut for one last push. And you have to wonder, had their incredible streak of luck finally run out? Well, turns out, not even close.
Okay, put yourself in their shoes for a second. It's a researcher's absolute nightmare. You've driven all this way, you're hunting for one crucial document, a specific cemetery list, and you get to the local library, and it's closed. That feeling of pure frustration. Any researcher out there knows exactly what that's like. So now what? What do you do?
So what do? Apparently the answer is you just stand there. Because as Randy is standing there, probably feeling totally defeated, a man loading his car nearby asks if he can help. And in this just unbelievable twist of fate, the guy turns out to be the author of a book on that very town's cemeteries. He had the exact information Randy needed right there with him. I mean, you absolutely cannot make this stuff up. It's just incredible.
So, after 2 weeks of intense research, joyful reunions, and just ridiculously good fortune, what does it all add up to? Let's actually break it down by the numbers, because the numbers themselves tell a pretty amazing story.
Let's start with the most powerful number, 28. That's how many ancestors Randy was able to, visit by finding their final resting places. We're talking 11 different graveyards. That's about more than just data. It's about standing on the very ground where your family's story began.
Then you've got the sheer effort. 5. That's 5 different libraries, courthouses, and historical societies where they spent countless hours digging, searching, and piecing together this giant family puzzle.
And finally, the number 2. Just 2 weeks. That's all it took to travel through hundreds of years of family history, and, at the same time, create memories that would last a lifetime. And really, that's what this trip was all about. It was so much more than a vacation. It was like a pilgrimage. They walked through cemeteries that were centuries old. They stood in the exact places where their family's story played out, generations and generations ago. That's a connection to your roots you just can't get from behind a computer screen.
And all of this leaves us with one final thought. What Randy and Linda's story really shows us is that history isn't just something you read about in books. It's personal. It's out there. And a lot of the time, it's just waiting to be found in the most unexpected places. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What stories are waiting to be discovered in your family's past?